Welcome to Windsor Castle. Perched on a hill above the River Thames in Berkshire, this fortress has stood for almost 1,000 years. Built by William the Conqueror after 1066, expanded and refashioned over the centuries, it has been a royal residence, a fortress, a political power centre, and many say, a place where the veil between past and present is thin. Tonight we walk through its halls, chapels, libraries and cloisters, places where history's heavy shadows linger and where royal ghosts seek what they have lost. We begin in the early Middle Ages and end in modern times, guided by the whispers and eyewitnesses who claim they have seen more than just portraits on the walls. Windsor Castle stands as one of the world's longest inhabited fortresses, its walls sheltering kings and queens for nearly 1,000 years. 39 monarchs have called it home, and it has endured fire, siege, and endless transformation. From the looming round tower to the grand state apartments and the solemn St. George's Chapel, every stone carries a story. Beneath the flagstones of St. George's Chapel rest the remains of Henry VIII, Charles I, George V, and many more. Here, royals lie aside lesser souls, their bones hidden in walls and vaults. This unusual closeness between the living and the dead, historians suggest, may explain why whispers of hauntings echo so powerfully within these halls. One of the most frequently reported apparitions here is Queen Elizabeth I, also known as the Virgin Queen. According to multiple sources over time, she appears in the library. Many claim to have heard her footsteps on bare floorboards before her striking presence appears. There is a specific account attributed to Lieutenant Carr Glynn, a member of the Grenadier Guards in 1897. He was sitting in the outer room of the Queen's Library when he saw a woman in black walk past, turning a corner, resembling descriptions and portraits of Elizabeth I. He searched, found no trace of an exit along her path, and no way she could have left. King George III is another ghost often seen. He is claimed to be visible in the room below the library, looking longingly out of the window towards what was once the parade grounds or the lower courts. In some accounts, after his death, a sentinel or officer passing by his familiar window saw his figure and saluted, and reportedly others saw it too. King Henry VIII is also said to walk with difficulty through the deanery cloisters, his leg in pain. Historically, he suffered from ulcers and problems in later life. His groans, dragging footsteps have also been reported. There are over 25 reported ghostly presences in Windsor Castle. Queen Victoria, for instance, is said to have objected, while still beyond the grave, to garden changes made by Edward VIII in 1936. Workmen removing spruce trees planted by her and Prince Albert claimed to be followed. They heard disturbances and saw a ghostly figure of Queen Victoria herself, waving her arms and moaning loudly. Another witness claims the late Queen Elizabeth II and her sister Princess Margaret reportedly saw the ghost of Queen Elizabeth I. This was also in the library. The account states the Queen's footsteps can be heard, then a figure, then a presence so striking that those involved felt it really was the Virgin Queen. Let's walk now into the library, a room of hushed learning, rich wood, heavy books. Here, many of the Elizabeth I sightings happen. Patrons, royal family members, guards, staff have all reported cold spots, whispering footsteps, and a figure dressed in black moving across the library and disappearing through the walls. Lieutenant Glynn's account, again, is often cited. Below the library is a room where George III spent much time, especially as his mental health deteriorated. Several reports have him looking from windows, peering out as though from within. This room, looking out onto the parade grounds or courtyards, is one place people say he lingers. The deanery cloisters are dark, arched walkways beside St George's Chapel. Here, people report hearing the laboured shuffle of Henry VIII's footsteps. His moans. Sometimes you glimpse a large form, as though someone heavy leaning on a cane, or not moving quite right. Then, it vanishes out of sight. While many reports are hearsay or collected by paranormal historians, some have been reported in newspapers and interviews. In a report in the Mirror published in 2022, there is a claim that Queen Elizabeth II and her sister saw a ghost at Windsor Castle believed to be Elizabeth I. The article noted, witnesses told the Mirror that they can see a figure looking longingly out of the window. Similarly, Hello magazine in 2020 included stories that the Queen's footsteps can be heard on bare floorboards before her striking presence appears, regarding Elizabeth I in the library. Paranormal historian Richard Felix, in a more recent documentary called The King of UFOs, claimed that Queen Elizabeth II saw her namesake, Queen Elizabeth I, in the library, and that King Charles has also seen the same ghost, and that King George V saw Elizabeth 8 nights in a row before World War II. So what do these hauntings feel like for those who report them? Cold patches in otherwise warm rooms, the smell of old perfume or candle wax in places long after candles were removed, footsteps in empty corridors echoing in stone, a figure in period dress, often Tudor or 17th, 18th century garb, sometimes the sensation of being watched by presence unknown. One staff member, the name was undocumented in my sources, reportedly heard the click of high heels in the corridors near the library, at times when no one was there. Another guard was said to recognise the posture of King George III looking from a window as though expecting something. Legends grow in the darkness. With centuries of royal drama, executions, religious change, betrayal, mental illness, Windsor seems to attract stories of unrest. Skeptics point out many records are second or third hand. Light, shadow, echo can fool the mind. And also staff fatigue, walking silent corridors at night, stress, or old stones making noises. Yet some events are harder to dismiss. When multiple witnesses see the same figure, when royals themselves say they felt something real, or when footsteps and sounds register for people who are used to the building and know its quirks. Belief plays its part. For those who believe, Windsor feels alive in a spectral way. For others, it's folklore. But even for the unbeliever, the stories enrich the castle. As our tour ends, consider this. Windsor Castle is more than stone, more than royalty, more than history. It's a place where past echoes still reverberate, where monarchs long dead seem close enough to touch. So when you walk through its library, look at the portraits, hear the bell in the round tower, Imagine these lingering presences. Elizabeth pacing while no one watches, George gazing out the window, or Victoria's moaning, Henry's footfall in the cloister. Whether you believe it or not, the ghosts of Windsor Castle are a part of its spirit. Thank you for walking with me through this castle of shadows. May you see nothing, or perhaps just enough.